being able to take down some of the big dogs, as we did see in our Saturday Showdown yesterday. So a little bit of a rough run for Nongshim coming up. They're going to have to really make sure they look clean up against HANJIN here today for our first game of the series. But here we go into draft, and let's see whether this is going to be tidy as well, because I have to say, I had some words for the drafting yesterday, and I'm very much hoping that we don't have any more weird experiments where we leave up things like Karma and Rumble together and all sorts of strange stuff like that.
Or Quantum, man. They did him dirty.
Yeah, it's a little bit of it's a rough scenario. And sometimes you do need to take risks, but they're not the risks that you should be taking.
Nongshim do end up banning the Karma themselves here with first pick.
And Rumble is banned as well. Man, it's that easy.
Yeah. Now we just need to see a Pantheon ban. Varus is also gone.
Yep.
And then all right, we're down for some clean League of Legends here. You know, I'm ready for some Rise picks. Okay, I'm ready for a little bit of, a Jayce blind, Gnar blind in my LCK, yeah.
Well, the Orion are going to be taken away.
Zhao Jarvan handshake.
I was thinking the Jarvan could be a ban, though, because Sponge has been so good at that champion.
Yeah, it's true.
Taking away early impact from Sponge, I think, is a really good way to attack Nongshim. But we'll see whether they decide to do it.
They could do is to ban the Azir, because Scout has been really good Azir, but they do, exactly as you say, take the Jarvan away. And Kingen's like, what are you playing? What are you playing, Sponge? Which AD carry? There's a lot, or sorry, which jungler? There's a lot of junglers that are high prio right now on first game and best 3 of Fearless.
Yep. I wouldn't mind just as Zin's our first pick, and there it is.
It's like, daring, aren't we?
Whoa. You're out there, dude. Can't believe you picked up the Xin Zhao.
Such a hipster.
All right, well, let's see whether an answered jungler... imagine if he was so bold as to pick Vi.
That would be insane.
Could you imagine a world where something like that would be picked?
Or
Nocturne?
Nocturne!
That's absurd!
Well,
it hadn't even entered my mind.
There is no Oriana, but Nocturne works well with a lot of other picks right now. Nocturne feels a little bit less likely with the Neeko.
Shout out to what did. Neeko Ezreal? It's locked in right now?
Yeah, probably just is Neeko Ezreal locked in right now. There's no reason to get a jungle.
Oh, gorgeous. What an incredible bottom lane. It's just so
Teddy
good.
Lane.
Yeah.
It's a good one. Teddy's a great Ezreal player.
It does mean that you get Yunara Lulu'd.
Yeah, that's
it's Lulu plus Xin Zhao.
Yeah.
So this is... we were being a little facetious when we said that the Ezreal Neeko is fantastic. It's
good. It's good when you have like a Bard ban, and also like there's no Yunara angle, there's no like Ashe Seraphine angle. All of those were available, by the way. But it's a safe Ezreal pick. And
I do have to say,
it has a range support with it.
Yeah, on top of everything, Lehends is a phenomenal Lulu player. So this is just, it's a real rough time. I think Nocturne really does help out Neeko especially. I think that Pop Blossom flanks can be much more consistent when you can just turn the lights off. So maybe some opportunities for Namgung to make things happen.
My biggest concern when I see a Nocturne pick is that they won't have strong side lane to utilize it, because obviously it can do it very well in team fights, especially if it has something to empower it, like in Oriana. It empowers the Oriana truly, but Lulu, that can empower it if it goes in. It can be a knock-up tool, but we need to see something strong in either either Loking or Casting's court here for them to be able to set up side lane power and play through it, because then it can out-rotate the Xin Zhao. The Rise is taken away, so that's one of those strong side lane picks. The Azir is also gone, banned by HANJIN BRION themselves, so I also just don't necessarily trust either of these solo laners to be strong in a side lane, even if they have a strong pick, but we'll see what they do end up getting here. I like what you're saying, though, about turning the lights off, making it harder to counterplay the Neeko.
Yep. I also wouldn't mind HANJIN BRION just saying, I don't really want a team fight into this composition. Let's play a TF draft or something weird like that.
Yeah, I would love that, because that's also quite simple to play.
Yeah.
You know, to play well macro-wise, I think, is a little bit trickier, but I think Bro actually has it in them. I think they do macro quite well, especially this season.
Yep. And
he's a great ban.
When you're staring down the barrel of a Xin Zhao Lulu, which just really is already a pretty phenomenal team fighting core with Taeyoon on the Yunara that he has really liked over the last few weeks, I think that, just steering clear of the 5v5 sounds like a decent idea. K'Sante going to be taken away, though, and that might mean that we're looking at... what are we looking at the top lane if they're banning K'Sante?
Jayce angle potentially here for HANJIN. Aurora was the next one on the list here in terms of mid lane.
Aurora Nocturne, pretty strong.
we could see something like a Galio here for Scout, or just fight fire with fire. You know, why not?
Yeah, it's a decent way to do it as well.
He got pretty owned by a LeBlanc. It was Closer's LeBlanc earlier this season, but it was a different matchup. There's the Jayce I was alluding to.
And I feel like this kind of plays into HANJIN BRION's hands, right? They've already got the Nocturne. Playing through a Yorick side lane actually sounds like a decent win condition, and now you've got a pretty good lane to put it in as well.
I don't really feel like this Nocturne draft rounded out well for me. I would have liked to have a little bit of a stronger front line and maybe more of a neutralizing pick.
Obviously Yasuo was the choice. I'm so
shock
silly.
blasts for you.
It's the same theory. I mean, we all know that Yasuo is going to sit in the side lane, but he doesn't have a maiden. And if you don't want to be maidenless, you have to pick Yorick. That is just how it goes.
I didn't like the Nocturne at first.
Oh, no!
Still fine, though.
I mean, it's good in the matchup.
It's
but it means they're opting into team fights, and I don't know whether you want to do that.
It's kind of what I wanted for this draft for HANJIN before I saw the Nocturne pick. A little bit less interested in it now, but had they gone for the Yorick, I would have loved HANJIN's draft way more because they have side lane power. With both of their solo lane champions, they have the Nocturne to back it up. They have scaling with Teddy here on this Ezreal. It's one of his best picks. And there's no front line for Nocturne RedForce. So would have felt like the Sion just kind of allows you to play team fights the way you want. The Nocturne allows you to play team fights the way you want. Now you can play through the Sion a little bit, play a little bit slower, but it opens up a lot of flank angles for Scout. And I also think LeBlanc is very specifically good into Neeko, because if a Neeko is trying to flank and Scout finds her, she dies.
Yeah.
Nice flank. Oh, you're going to solo ult me and then die because you can't do anything else. I outpace you, I out-rotate you, and it's really difficult for the Neeko to set up fights, especially from behind.
Well, let's see what they are going to be able to do here. I think the Sion is a good matchup into the Jayce. We're not going to debate that one. Just feel like the Yorick might have been, like you say, a little bit of a better pick into the draft. That being said, I mean, I was talking about it like the team fighting core of Xin, Yunara, Lulu, and then with some more team fighting alongside it, Jayce and LeBlanc isn't that necessarily. So maybe the team fights could go HANJIN's way if they play it out right, but we'll have to wait and see as we get onto the Rift for Game 1. All right, Noodle fans out in force here today, but obviously the bros have their own select amount of Giga Chads here in LoL Park.
Isn't it pretty interesting when you look at these comps? Like, on one hand, Nongshim have 3 damage threats. They have the LeBlanc, they have the Yunara, which does a lot of consistent damage, and then, you know, more burst in the Jayce.
Yeah.
And then Bro have Ezreal, which is not going to be hitting any tanks here, can actually really do quite a bit of burst himself into the squishy composition here of Nongshim. And then the burst damage of the Aurora, they have a strong front line to back it up. It feels like if Nongshim find themselves falling behind, only Taeyoon can actually kill casting realistically in most situations. And if he gets killed for any reason, then LeBlanc and Jayce are going to take a while to kill casting, and that really means that, you know, Bro will win most of those fights if that happens, if Taeyoon dies. So Taeyoon has a huge responsibility here in this game. But on the other side of things, there isn't a whole lot of ways to kill Taeyoon. Like, the CC here is like a fear from the Nocturne, a charged Q, maybe a Sion ult hits. It's all kind of situational. There's no point and click. There's no Pantheon here. You know, Taeyoon has a lot of ability to, if he positions well, you know, is utilizing his ultimate and his dash as well, be difficult to lock down. Plus he has a Lulu who will, you imagine, build Mikhails in this game eventually, so...
Oh yeah.
Probably necessarily need to build
very early.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to build it early, I think, with the CC here, but, you know, probably will, because that's how LCK teams roll most of the time, because it's the safest way.
I mean, a straight Neeko snare and, you know, the fear from a Nocturne, if he does get on top of the Yunara, could be worth cleansing.
He also, you know, took the barrier for the lane, so it doesn't have cleanse, so another reason to.
Yep. Well, good sidestep there on the Mystic shot. We do know that Teddy recently got into the Mad movie on his Ezreal as well.
Yeah.
So certainly has been working out pretty well as Keen. 3 wins in a row on this Sion. Casting, Doran, and Kingen all having a pretty good game on it as well. 2 of those players being here right now. So this could be a sign of good things for the bros.
Half of Genji's wins right now.
Yeah.
Crazy to think. As Teddy and Taeyoon are dueling here with the Lulu having a little bit of extra damage. Gideon's coming down early, but he will be matched by Sponge. Do not think this favors Gideon.
Yeah. Double buffs on both of these junglers as Lehends manages to move up first. That is going to push Gideon out of the river and will need to head to northward in order to grab a Rift Scuttler of his own. Will mean that he's away from this bottom lane. Will give some priority over to Nongshim. So good early start for Nongshim so far. But I don't know whether this is really the battleground we're looking to see the game decided on, right? I feel like mid-game is going to be a really important point. 2-item spike for the Ezreal, going to be what the bros are going to be playing around. And then getting themselves to a point where they can actually compete for damage is going to be really important against, you know, more damage coming out of Nongshim towards the top side of the map, as well as this LeBlanc. If Scout's able to get things done early, could be really problematic here for the bros.
Casting, trying to trade back as well as he can. The early Sion levels can be a little bit tricky, but he's doing a decent job here. Finds himself at a small deficit. Scout's being very annoying here in the mid lane. It's an electrocute matchup where your trade patterns are what define how much damage you can get done. Yep. And you also have to manage using your abilities to clear waves. So it's actually a really fun matchup to watch. But we're going to stop watching.
Yeah, no, we're watching the top lane, Wolf. What are you talking about? This is where the real action happens. Okay? This is good, honest laning.
Yeah,
good,
watching Sion versus Jayce sometimes is like watching if the Jayce gets too greedy. The Sion is always waiting for his moment. He's he might step one step too far. I might get him Roar the Slayer, and then, oh, baby. My level 6 is ready. He's in trouble.
Yeah, sometimes it never actually
sometimes
happens.
It's like, you know, it's a classic, you know, it's Khan's Jayce, and you never touch him one time. You're like, I guess I can't get grasp stacks this game. I'm not even going to get a single one.
Well, right now, that is kind of what casting's life is about. Let's hope that he can actually get a grasp stack or two as this game goes on. As Taeyoon rushing over towards Namgung here. Not too much actually happening, though, as far as the bottom side. Feeling a very Bro and Brew-esque right now.
Looks like Scout got a very aggressive trade with level 6 and denied a bunch of farm from Loki, who didn't have teleport, just looking at the minimap there. So now he gets the free back here and is up 7 CS, picks up a nice gold lead there. Kind of happened off camera, but you can see Scout's ult is on cooldown, so looks like he made an aggressive play there with a slight experience lead. Small moves like that can be how you end up generating a pretty nice early game lead here in the mid lane.
Indeed. Now charging up that Mimic once again. Of course, you can just kind of spam it. But Loki, now with level 6 of his own, we'll see whether he does go between the worlds. And I think the important thing is Gideon, level 5 right now, looking for an angle towards Scout as Loki wants to get enough damage down, but Dustbringer not even going to connect. They see Sponge on this ward. He's not going to start off the... Oh, he actually is going to start off the Dragon right now.
Yeah, with the back off of Gideon, and I think they saw... It's hard to say, but I think they saw he was going topside. They had that ward in his bottom side jungle and knew the angle he took, so I think they know he's pathing top. So feel good about doing this. Kingen should be aware of this, though, as Loki gets...
Yeah, great chain. So Loki taking a fair bit of damage
How is Kingen not aware if they start Dragon that Gideon is up here?
Oh, there's the unstoppable onslaught. Kingen does have to go southward, flashes over the wall. And Gideon not going to follow. They'll just accept the flash and move on with their lives. That is going to be the Dragon secured by Nongshim, though. As a result, next one going to be a Cloud. And Orc's not working today, so let's hope that he's at home paying attention so we don't get any more of these pesky Chemtech souls that we've been getting quite a lot of this week.
He has had a few good months, you know, here and there, but
I think week 1 and 2 were really positive.
Yeah, I wouldn't say this week was his best work yet, but... It's a pretty big win to get the flash out of the Jayce, because Jayce is very gankable, especially now that Gideon has level 6. So we'll see if he can play around that top side now, as Kingen wants to generate as much pressure as possible. Now has Sponge on the top side, so can continue to be aggressive as casting us back.
These Blooming Bursts are actually really hurting towards Taeyoon. Now I'm running out of mana, though. He's actually looking for a little bit of a back angle as Teddy pulls the wave. Doesn't really find too much of a great trade there as he loses half of his health bar, but he's still ahead in farm by about 3. And they will look for the reset now. Scout moving on over as Loki had wandered his way back to lane. And so everything's sort of quiet on Summoner's Rift right now. We do have Nongshim with a slight gold lead as well as that Dragon, so you could say that technically they're in the lead.
Yeah.
Doesn't really feel like anyone's made real headway in this game.
Real close game, like you're saying. And for Bro, that's a great sign. Like we've talked about before, their late game seems to be their best point. And to be able to be stable to this LeBlanc composition early into the Jayce pressure on the top side, sure, that's where the biggest gold holes are. But, you know, it's Teddy's, he's scaling.
Yep.
600 gold. It's not crazy. It's playable.
He's got his glowing moat.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. No worries. Also, they are off a reset, so I imagine that as they do bounce things back, they will be able to even out the money. Scout will be bouncing back towards his distortion as Loki just secures the wave and will be able to back away. Sponge is just kind of taking everything that he wants, though. We're going to see casting moving down, looking to try and block Sponge's approach. As Namgung was moving on in, dressed as the jungler, but you can see GIDEON now level 7, wants to be able to use that paranoia effectively. I wonder what his window is going to be.
Yeah, he really hasn't been able to find one just yet, and obviously doesn't have a kill.
Oh, it's Jayce.
Well, I mean, it's the best one. He doesn't have flash, but he is just going to do these grubs, and he wants to get, obviously, Ultimate Hunter online if he can.
Yeah.
But it's GIDEON, so grubs take priority for now.
Gotta get the GIDEON grub.
But eventually, maybe there is an angle up there. Kingen's actually going to back with TP. If he TPs back in at the worst possible time, maybe there's an angle there, but I don't think we are going to see that commitment to the dive with the Sion and ult in hand. I say it, he's being indecisive, however.
Yeah, they're going to look for the angle here as he does zone away the Jayce with his ultimate, and that is first blood going over to the bros. GIDEON collects it, and that is Ultimate Hunter stack, and also a great start here for HANJIN.
Yeah, I guess the delayed gank is the scariest.
Oh,
although I
yeah.
don't know if Kingen really could have done much there. Didn't have his flash available. Scout is really being aggressive in this lane, but it hasn't actually led to a kill or anything like that. Just passive gold lead as an ult out here.
Doing the best he can to try and stop this dive, and it's a 1-for-1 underneath this turret. You definitely say that that's positive here for HANJIN BRION as the investment was there. Taeyoon looking to go aggressive towards Teddy, who dashes forward with the ulti, but doesn't really find too much value. Barrier's still there, and flash for Teddy as well as the dust settles. And so he should be able to just be fine. Continue farming.
Kanavi 100% flash when comes lightning there. As Polymorph goes in first, it's actually a massive ultimate here from Namgung. Unreal, actually. Despite getting hit there initially, that was pretty incredible from him, saving the day and trading the kill back. Teddy picks up the kill on the side of Bro, but on the side of Nongshim, you know, it ends up going over the Zhao. So again, an even bigger win for Bro.
I'd say good value. 200 gold is now their advantage, but the big one is the fact that Teddy gets a bit of extra money. Now Taeyoon did manage to collect some plate money there towards the bottom side of the map. That is why you can see that slight gold advantage for the Yunara. And we know that Yunaras with gold leads are pretty scary prospects. Good chain connect here from Scout. As Loki taken down to about 50%. Auroras really have just kind of been punished in lane over the last little while.
It has been the case. And I think part of it is just the champion is a little bit more familiar than it was on release. It's been played in top lane a lot as well. People just really know the kit incredibly well, and you know, itemization hasn't changed too much, really. It's just, I think mastery has gone up of all the Aurora matchups.
Yep.
And LeBlanc is also just, when you have mastery of it, a champion that can win almost any lane. So Scout doing a great job of punishing here. Dragon is up, and Nongshim are in the vicinity with Sponge on the Gromp right now, with mid-prio to Scout as well. Obviously, top lane is just casting going into the enemy base, but he does have TP, so there could be a late contest because they don't have vision of him right now. They need to commit quickly, though, if they're going to start this one up. Otherwise, Kingen's going to show up. He's got his Ghost Blade.
Trisha Barrage not quite finding the angle here. There's the Pop Blossom, connects onto two, Paranoia, and down goes Taeyoon in the blink of an eye. Teddy now looking to follow up. Wind becomes lightning here as there's the Sion. Gets the damage down onto Sponge there at least, whose Crescent Guard is doing a fair bit of work. Flashes himself out of the way as Casting can tank the turret for about 1 billion years, and Loki just snipes the kill. And actually, no, it's Teddy that picks it up in the end. So the pros 4-1 now with a brilliant dive.
Yeah, that was that's the kind of play that makes me a believer. I'll be honest with you, Atlus. That was a big mistake from Taeyoon, because Taeyoon, he sees the true shot come out and he's like, oh, that's my angle. I'm all in. There's a Neeko right there. Yeah. He's got flash. There's a Nocturne. You're just gonna instantly die. if those two champions don't interact and you 1v1 Teddy, yeah, Teddy's in big trouble. But guess what? Your top laner does not have TP. Your mid laner does not have TP. You got to track those summoners. And even if like he dies and they both have TP, I think with the damage lost of the Yunara, they probably lose the exchange anyways. Maybe it's a little bit less of a winning one for HANJIN here, but Teddy's now almost 1,000 gold ahead, picks up 3 kills.
Yeah, he's got his Trinity Force now as well. And to add insult to injury, the amount of investment Nocturne had done towards that bottom side of the map, like they had vision all over the place, and HANJIN just kind of walked all over it and still managed to win out on the fight, even if they had a information disadvantage. Nocturne continuing to lay down these wards. You can see Lehends putting as much vision down there as possible, as Loki is the one down here, looking to try and defend. This dragon, though, is still pretty lonely, as the bros move to close to 1,000 gold in the lead.
Namgung's like, I think he'll try it again. I'm gonna come over there. Yeah, the dragon hasn't been finished just yet, only just now started by Sponge. This time, the teleport is available for Kingen.
Yep. Namgung. Oh, that's the real one as they get the knock up onto the Xin Zhao. Wild Growth does come out and he gets the fadeaway dragon take, but there's the knock up as casting will help lock him down. Drake secured for Nocturne, but a kill over to the bros.
I mean, there is just a huge communication problem happening within Nocturne right now. Remember the first time when Kingen lost his flash, right? Obviously, Sponge is like, yep, okay, I saw GIDEON go topside. He starts the dragon as we're going to have casting try some silly moves here. That'll be the end of it. But he loses his flash because no one tells him GIDEON's going top. And then we have that Taeyoon play where there's no communication that his solo laners don't have teleport. And then here it's like, look at Kingen. He's still not coming. If you want to show up as Jayce in this team fight, you need to be leaving like yesterday, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And Namgung gets in here. It's just a solo ultimate, but they decide, okay, we'll focus the jungler down. Ends up getting the smite anyways, but now the Jayce shows up so late here, and everything is thrown into Sponge. So, you know, there's no way to turn this fight around anymore. You're not going to see a Yunara ult. You're not going to see Taeyoon popping off with the wild growth here. And Kingen yet still teleports, right? And doesn't end up changing that fight. If he's going to push hard on top side and they give up the dragon, then I'm like, sure, you know, you can hesitate there. But I just feel like Nocturne are not all on the same page of what they're trying to do on some of these early scraps.
Yeah, it's almost like they are underestimating the power of HANJIN BRION here today. And let's see whether the bros can capitalize on it. Some crystalline overgrowth there being eaten by Scout. Obviously not out of it yet. Double Dragon is going to be important as Taeyoon going aggressive towards Namgung, who, yeah, does have to dash cannon away and almost just straight up dies. Teddy moves over and will be able to defend this turret, but I think Namgung's just needing to go back and get some treatment in the fountain.
Sponge here, going to once again start the objective. A lot of tools back online. In fact, all of them for Bro. They have every ult.
Yeah.
In their war chest here.
Ooh, Teddy able to arcane shift away, but Taeyoon is getting scary. Kraken Slayer online as well as his cull cashed in.
And with wild growth available here, you do not want to try to win those exchanges. But they bought some time here. The question is, what does that mean? As Loki is going to try to sneak through here, there is control vision on that ward.
Yeah, all they need is a little bit of vision as there's the paranoia. Pop Blossom comes in, connects onto Taeyoon, and down goes the Yunara. Namgung actually able to survive as well for such a long time, but Teddy's down. It's just whether that matters as the Jayce is taken out. Casting's at full health. This Sion is an absolute behemoth in this game, and it's a triple for Loki in the end.
It's what I went back to when we started this game post-draft, is like, if you kill Taeyoon instantly, no one's killing the Sion, especially here at 16 minutes.
Especially not Scout. He decided he didn't even want to go. He was, no. And this teleport ain't it.
I don't know what to say, except that some of these moves here for Bro have been predictable, but they're still well coordinated and still well executed, and Nocturne are just kind of falling over like a house of cards in this one. There's no front line here. Look at this setup. Both the Neeko and the Nocturne are just completely linked while Loki is there to make sure he isn't even really needed, but his ultimate still does a ton of work. Kingen's now isolated as casting locks him in here, and Lehends is like, well, I pressed R, that's all I can do. He also had the polymorph, but does not prevent the ult from coming through from Namgung, so he ended up polymorphing and basically wasting it as the cast had already been done.
And casting when he teleports in has approximately 16 billion health. So it's just really, really hard to get through this Sion, who's putting himself in phenomenal positions to just cause a ruckus in the front line. It's what we were kind of hoping to see, but I was a little bit worried that the Bros weren't going to be able to get their ducks in a row in order to capitalize effectively. They absolutely have been able to maximize their damage. They've got a 2,000 gold lead that puts extra money in the coffers and allows them to actually reach that damage threshold without having a damage dealer on the top side of the map.
Bro are legit good. I actually think they've been super underestimated this tournament. I think the level of the LCK right now is really high. And also we have a lot more league parity than we normally do, especially in the spring. It's not spring season, but we are in the early parts of the LCK here in April now with our new format. And it does feel like in early days, Bro has been quite good. And Teddy has almost completed his transformation here at 18 minutes. He is really soaring towards that 2-item spike. Significantly ahead of his opposition here. And Scout generated a nice lead early, has a lot of extra farm because he hasn't been showing up to team fights, but that doesn't necessarily help you win games. You know, he is eventually going to actually have to start threatening Namgung, who isn't flanking, by the way. He's just going straight through the center and finding these crazy angles.
And it's kind of nuts that Scout is actually still ahead in gold. He does have a 30 CS lead. But he's also just been taking down turrets.
Yeah, I think a lot of plate gold as well.
Lanes. Yeah, got first turret blood as well as grabbing all the plates. So that is a large reason why he still has that advantage. But the fact that Loki was the one delivered those kills means that he does still remain within touching distance as far as that money is concerned.
I think there's a certain way you could, there's a way you could look at this as they're going to get this inner here first. For a Scout where it's like, okay, hold on guys, I'm going to scale, I'm going to get a ton of damage, I'm going to explode in the mid game. I just don't think that's how you want to play this comp. I think you need to be killing the enemy champions to win fights, not to get gold. Getting gold but not winning the fights isn't necessarily going to snowball this LeBlanc into a win con here, especially with Bro picking up this third dragon, which is arguably of the three the most valuable individual in the Infernal. So Scout is... He's Chovying. He's old Chovying.
Yeah, he's most certainly taking the structures down. It's just whether that's actually all that meaningful. That's the real question.
It might be later, but for now, I mean, it gives him a 700 gold lead, but if he never touches the enemy champions, I don't know what that really means.
This is the thing. It kind of feels like a Band-Aid approach.
Yeah, show the damage to champions. That's what I want to see now from Scout.
Yeah, Scout not exactly doing the most, although did do a lot of poking and prodding in the early game, and he's now 40 CS in the lead. So Loki is falling behind in that regard. And you can see 600 gold is going to be the lead as far as money. Still, Nongshim struggling a little bit to find these team fights that we're looking for. And I think they'll need Scout, especially when it's the jostling for position phase of the fights, right?
Yeah.
Scout does need to be there early. He shouldn't be, you know, sitting there in side lanes. They should be rotating towards him so that he can slink off into the darkness and help them actually gain setup around a lot of these objectives.
If Scout pops off in the first fight he joins, then this can all be worth it. Like, he's got his Shadow Flame. And
yeah, he's scary.
Unfortunately, there's no Dragon for him to utilize this 2-item spike for, so it probably won't even matter. But if he can kill somebody right now, you know, then it's great. Like, you got so much value out of that extra second item that you got so early. If he doesn't and he joins a fight and loses the fight, all the work he did means nothing. And all the lost fights and lost skirmishes to Bro that he wasn't there for mean that maybe it wasn't the right choice. But it's been a bit of an awkward game here where Taeyoon's been behind the 8-ball for quite a bit of it since the third kill came through there from Teddy. And so this composition really struggles to cut through the Sion. Eventually, though, you know, if Taeyoon positions well, gets his third item, the Sion won't last that long, especially with the itemization here.
I'm going looking for a little bit of an angle towards Scout, as Loki is going to find his old lane opponent once again here in this top lane. There's only a couple of plates remaining in that top lane outer turret, but I don't think HANJIN BRION are going to be able to get there, as Scout does have pretty good wave clear now that these first couple of items have been put together. 2 items in for the Sion as well, and I think the Bros probably want to start a fight, and that's why we're getting this teleport in from casting. Paranoia goes down as there's the Wild Growth. Dash out here from Taeyoon to keep himself alive. And Sponge is now the one that they're going to turn their attention to. Pop Blossom is going to connect and eclipse Lehends as well, who has to flash away. The Pros get the jungler, and that is what they're looking for. But this time Scout has decided that he wants to teleport in. Taeyoon going to be avoiding the Q out of casting, who doesn't have his ulti anymore, but they only just barely take his shield down.
Yeah.
What the heck is that?
Yeah, Taeyoon's alive and they can't hurt him.
Yeah.
Scout
In the meantime,
also.
though, Scout going to get discovered by Gideon and Loki, or is it the other way around? Is Namgung, he's certainly a target they can kill, but not by Kingen, who is just going to die. Casting walks up towards Taeyoon, and Namgung's able to dash cannon away. It's a double for Teddy, as fighting on two fronts is not exactly what Nongshim wanted to do.
Can you say GG, Teddy?
Oh dear, GG Teddy, as he does manage the barrier in time, but the last Q is going to land, and Scout will at least deny the Baron.
That saves the Baron, and finally Scout gets one. But had he not done that, okay, look at the mini-map. Okay, look at where Scout is while all this is happening. Look at all the wards he could TP to, by the way. Just saying, a lot of wards he could TP to, could be TPing right now, could be coming in on a flank angle behind Teddy right now, could still be coming, could still be going, could still be flanking Teddy. And now he's like, you know what, I'm going to flank my team. I had to finish the wave, yep, and I'm here. They're still there, right? Don't worry, I'm like 900 gold ahead because I've been on the side. I'm going to use my money. This is the kind of stuff I'm talking about here with Nongshim on the map. And then on this flank angle, he cannot actually even really get access to Loki. He ends up losing out here.
And they see Lehends, and immediately the bros are like, well, it's 2v3, let's kill them.
Yeah, and Teddy just starts going in on the Kingen, and then Taeyoon gets pushed back here. And Scout, you know, he didn't really have an angle there. Unfortunately, it's just 1v2, and by the time Lehends gets there, the fight is lost. But you got to be, if you see that flank, yes, run away with your champions in the mid lane, but use your teleport, you know? Flank, you could have gotten behind Teddy there, and that would have been a game-changing angle. It's still, he got that kill on the Teddy in the end and denied the Baron.
Damn, that is a lot of healing and shielding.
Yeah, he is.
For the Lulu.
He's really pressing the buttons. He wishes it was Chemtech Soul.
Indeed. I mean, I don't know. I do want to be critical of Nongshim, but I think first, I need to commend Bro for how they're navigating these fights, as the unstoppable onslaught is going to connect onto Sponge. He takes a lot of damage. This time there is a LeBlanc on the flank angle, as in goes Loki. Does get a lot of damage down, and there goes the bottom lane in the blink of an eye. Sponge continuing to try and fight this one, but he goes headfirst into a Mystic shot, and the Bros are just going to carry that forward towards taking this second dragon.
I think they are poised to take this first game.
Oh, that was close.
Yeah. Dragon does get smote here by Gideon. Turret will go down in the interim, but Bro are in such a good spot in this game.
They are just team fighting so well.
And it's because they keep team fighting in 5v4s or 5v3s.
But they are the ones orchestrating it as well. We do have to give them credit for that.
I know. I think they're just like, it doesn't seem like they are showing up, so I guess we'll kill them.
Yeah.
Like, again, here, Jayce is not here. And so they're like, all right, let's go in, try to break through the center. Jungle gets caught first. The follow-up here from the Nocturne ult. By the way, Nocturne ult's so patient. This is the Nocturne Aurora combo we've talked about so much. You pointed out in the draft. So incredibly oppressive. Jayce still didn't come, by the way. Like, yeah, I figured he wouldn't come. He's
I mean, it's so hard. When Paranoia is used, you don't know where you want to be, right? Unless you're, like, hyper-coordinated.
It's just that Nongshim maybe can't predict that Bro are going to pull the trigger, because in the past, that's kind of been a thing Bro's had an aversion to, but you know, Nongshim have often been really late to respond. Like you said, once the fight's really going and the Nocturne is ulting, then Kingen's like, well, I don't know if I can really, it's too late for me. But that's kind of been the story for so many of these either not teleporting side laners or the ones who teleport in too late. It's just,
and I feel like this
not
is,
arriving.
Yeah, I feel like this is what Nongshim's sort of game plan was from the start, was to, like, let's play for sides, let's just try to disengage when we can. The problem is they're sort of half doing it, and half just kind of dying where they stand. Because, like, you do need to give ground if that's what your play is going to be.
It's cool if Taeyoon doesn't have any deaths, you know, and you're playing that way, and you're like, oh, he'll do a little bit of consistent damage later on. Our side laners are super far ahead. It'll be fine. Taeyoon's 1-4 because they keep engaging on him and finding him. Because there isn't any peel, there isn't any front line, and the side laners are not protecting him. Lehends is doing a great job. I think that's maybe what the observers were trying to show earlier. They're like, he's shielding. And he's wild growthing. He's doing a lot, but it's not enough.
Well, Namgung going to be able to clear out this control vision towards the back of the Baron. Scout at least has a very cool hat now, which is going to mean that he'll be very scary.
Scout almost feels like he's got his items in like a in like a collector's cabinet, you know? He doesn't really use them, but he's like, you know, I have a first edition Death Cap. Yeah, I'll never take it out of his sleeve.
Yeah, he's talking about like how good it is whilst just using like a beginner deck in the game. Yeah. You know, it's like, no, but these cards aren't worth anything, so I'm happy to use these.
I'm more of a collector. I'm actually kind of a side lane. I like to kill I'm a minion killer, not a champion killer. That's what I do.
I'm more of a PvE player, as it turns out. I mean, I relate to that, Wolf. That's precisely me.
Yeah, when the coach said stay in the side lane in the draft, I took that to heart.
Well, I wonder whether that was what Dandy's advice was, because it does seem to be what at least Kingen and Scout have been trying to accomplish.
1-3-1 means you're never 5, right? Never 5.
Yeah. The thing is, like, LeBlanc can do some things.
I know. I like the LeBlanc pick into the Neeko. I think it actually works here. You get past the Sion, right? You get on top of the Ezreal. It can do the things.
And it sort of you can play this composition out a little bit like a poke comp, right? With well, by a little bit, I mean a lot of it, because LeBlanc is basically a poke gem. Like, you distort forwards, then you're in range to press your buttons. You distort back, that disengages, and you're absolutely fine.
Keep rocking Ludens as many times as you can.
Yeah. All right, there's an unstoppable onslaught making its way towards the mid lane. True Shot Barrage is going to connect onto Taeyoon as Casting gets into position. The follow-up isn't necessarily there, though, as Scout moves on in, and Casting's health bar is now starting to go down. There's the flash forward from Namgung. They only find the Jayce, who gets Wild Growth and then flashes away, but Loki finds the double! The bottom lane is just evaporated here, and the Bros will move over towards the Baron. Man, that was a gorgeous snipe from this Aurora.
Yeah, the Aurora down 1,600 gold. Not anymore! He's
cut that in half.
He's killing the champions. He's not really a kill the minions guy, actually. He likes to win the game, as Bro are going to take down this Baron, and here's a TP here from Scout, very late.
Yeah, Kingen over here as well, so Sponge does have the ability to get into this pit. Let's see whether he's actually going to go for it, as these Bro health bars are going down lower. They're looking for the turn as they get on the Sponge, and he gets knocked up and just wiped out by Loki once again. Is that his 5th kill? My goodness, this Aurora's starting to get very fed. But Scout, oh dear. Teddy has to flash to get out of the way of the chains. And Bros, I think this Baron might be a bridge too far. The paranoia does come in as they look to take down the Nocturne. He goes into the GA as Teddy over the back of this pit is going to be able to secure them the Baron. Kingen now going to the skies as it was a decent spell shield there as Loki comes back with full health, and Scout is seeing whether he can take down this Ezreal. He is going to be successful. Down goes Namgung as well, and I don't know whether that Baron was worth it there, Bros, as they move to a negative 2,000 Red Bull Baron power play.
Yeah, that looked like a bit of a Bro with a W.
Yeah. Or a UH.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so at first it looks like Taeyoon's like, okay, I got True Shotted by Dodge Casting. Watch this. Wait for it. Wait for it. He's like, I'm safe, I'm doing the damage. Now I'm good. Okay, I got out. We're fine now. And then Loki's like, hello?
Yeah.
You thought you were safe?
Oh,
see ya!
My God.
That was actually so insane, because you could tell the moment where Taeyoon was like, okay, I did a lot of damage to Casting, I got out. We win the fight now. And then Loki just said no. And then here, Bro pull off so early, the Baron resets up to like 12,000, almost 13,000 damage. And Scout is here with Wild Growth on the way, and these health bars are just too low, and Scout decides he hates 5v5s. He only likes 1v5s. That's the team fight he's been looking for. As all these health bars are low, he gets Gideon, which is massive, because now there's no smite here. And so they cannot burst the Baron down, and it gets really awkward. Ultimately, it eventually does go as he respawns. But Scout just cleans up house here, has the Wild Growth set up from Lehends, as we're seeing an ult in the side lane.
Yep, it looks like Scout is now dead. Yep, sometimes that's what happens when you're in a side lane as well, as the Bros have decided to utilize their 2 Barons that they still have up and available. Haven't quite repaired this Baron power play just yet, though, as the Crystalline Overgrowth will be wiped out here by Kingen. So it's going to be a trade of inner turrets.
Kingen is like, just don't fight. I'm not TPing.
Yeah, play safe top lane, I think is what he's going to be saying here as he looks to try and trade inhibitor turrets as well.
If he could trade 1-for-1 inhibitor, that would be amazing, but we are going to see a True Shot Barrage. Okay, it didn't hit.
I think it was trying to hit there.
What about Nexus?
Wait, yeah. Unstoppable Onslaught goes in as Casting's health bar is massive, and they take down one Nexus turret. In goes Sponge now, does have that Crescent Guard, and that's going to help him stay alive for a little bit longer as Loki goes between the worlds. Kingen has teleported back as Taeyoon's in so much trouble. Loki goes golden, and the paranoia comes in, and he blows him up. Oh my God! insane. It looks like the Bros are going to be pushed away, though, as Teddy, no Arcade. Oh, never mind, the Arcade just forward. That was insanity. The Q is going to connect there for the damage, as now Sponge is able to keep himself alive with the help of Lehends.
No
casting takes so long to kill.
Scout's close to having TP, but otherwise there's no TP for Kingen. He just used it defensively, so they can't go down and take out that inhibitor right away or anything like this, but we're going way back on this one.
Yeah, we got a lot of replays to get
I
through,
think we
Wolf,
probably should have skipped this one, but ultimately, yes, they get the kill on the Scout. They have those Barons. They're going to push hard. Kingen comes in so late, and this is, I think, a great call from Bro because they have the Sion ultimate, which is going to put a number on these turrets, also zone, and they have 2 cannon minions here, and they know that the MO for Nocturne has just been not showing up to team fights with the side laners. One of them is dead. The other one is like very late here, but he does show up in enough time.
Watch this button off. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's actually kind of, it almost feels like something went wrong there. Like, that was hard to believe, but he does get off the weirding there, blows him up. Teddy goes for the all-in onto Kingen, but does not quite have the damage, which is a really sad thing here for the side of the Bros, but I don't think Bro are going to have you know, when the dust settles, you're not going to have lost the game or anything like that, but they definitely lost a lot of their momentum, and Scout is continuing to get stronger.
Yep, they also didn't manage to pick up Soul Point as well. Nocturne does have that one. 2 minutes on the next Dragon here at the same time. So a bit of extra pressure here for Nocturne, especially with their propensity to play side lanes.
Hey, look at that! He did it.
He's done it.
He's done the damage to champions.
And like, this is why we were saying you should probably make your way in towards some of these fights, because when Scout is there, he is very, very frightening. So still, I think the Bros with a fair bit of control, but it's only 1,000 gold at 33.5 minutes into this game. 3. Did you see that? It was all threes. That was, I'm glad we were looking at the clock. That was fantastic. Sometimes it's just really rewarding.
You think it'll go to all 4s?
Yeah, maybe it will. It's
halfway there.
Yeah, from the point we were talking about, it would be about 11 minutes and 11 seconds, as Kingen needs a wild growth in order to stay alive. Inner turret, though, is going to be going down here.
Bro don't even have Baron. They just have a Nocturne pushing mid who could join at a moment's notice, and topside has super minions, so they group as 4. The 4-1 is incredibly strong. It's really difficult for Nocturne to defend this, and they ultimately do defend or stop the push, but like they are unable to defend their inners, so the gold goes back. A little bit of a swing into Bro. Gold matters very little, though, as we crest 34 minutes here for both of these teams. It's really going to be about these next objective fights where Nocturne can afford, if they think they can defend, to give Baron for Infernal Soul, because it's the permanent buff. But the temporary buff of that Baron with the setup with the top wave pushing so far, I think is probably pretty appealing to Bro right now, because they can likely end the game with it.
Yeah. Casting has like 5.5k health, 5.303. That is a large amount of health.
Yes.
Looking for item number 4 coming up pretty soon as well, and he's halfway towards level 20.
He's also identified that Scout is the problem with his build.
Yes, indeed. Certainly prioritizing a bit of magic resist, but does still have a massive amount of armor.
Like, yeah, he's got a great build.
Yeah, he took care of Taeyoon first, and then he's like, hang on a second, we might need some MR. And does manage to put that together as well. Some shock blasts actually being thrown down now as Nocturne, we said this is where a lot of the power in their composition lies. And the Bros need to be the ones finding the engages very early on, before the poke comes in. You can see Teddy, yeah, it just costs him 1/3 of his health bar just to look at Kingen right now. As True Shot Barrage is going to come on through. Kingen takes a fair bit of damage, but so does Taeyoon, actually. As Scout gets into that backline, and there's the ulti forward from Casting. Taeyoon has popped his R button as well, though. And so the Bros can just back away, and they're winning.
Yeah, Taeyoon needs to be careful about Loki again, by the way. I've seen this movie before.
And now they need to try and fight for this dragon without the Yunara ultimate, which could be a whole lot more dangerous.
Ooh, big poke. That was a great shot from Kingen.
Yeah, able to find that one as Namgung looking for the angle. There's the flash. Pop Blossom connects onto the bottom lane, and they're down before Lehends could even press Wild Growth. That's a secure on the dragon as well. Kingen the next to fall as he's down to the GA is Sponge in the dragon pit, just trying to sneak away because they want to kill Kingen first. And I think that may have been the death nail here for Nocturne as the Bros teleport into the base. Casting with half of his health bar as shield. What does he have, 10,000 health right now?
Yeah, it's it's pretty bonkers.
Yeah, that is really silly. Scourge is very dead. Teddy able to put him down to his GA.
Scout has his ult in 5 seconds. Let's see if he can make a miracle happen. I don't think so.
I don't know. I think it's going to take him
to stay in the fountain.
It's going to take him about 40 seconds to even kill casting. It'd be absurd. Okay, the pros able to take game number 1 over Nongshim here with some fantastic team fighting and coordination in the mid game. HANJIN BRION really making Nongshim stand up and recognize.